first episode of this docu-drama is just out. We all watched it. And it reveals many tantric principles, not just the journey of this tantric aspirant, but also it's revealed here and there some very specific tantric principles. Do you want to mention some of them, and we can start with that?
I think it's such an interesting clash of characters, because usually in stories where you have a serious spiritual aspirant, usually the story is with one spiritual aspirant or a master or a teacher, and then people who don't have this aspiration, who don't have a longing for God, who are not searching for this inner essence. And here is very beautiful, because it's a rare story where you have two spiritual aspirants from different paths. I mean, my character is not a monk, he's just an eremit. He's also not following any religion tradition, or of course he prays, he has this devotion, he has this aspiration, he retrieved himself from society, so he didn't choose the walls of a monastery to hide. We found a cave far away, almost far away from everything, but not as far that her character couldn't find him. But it's so interesting, this clash of paths, the renunciation to society, to relationships, to pleasure, and just this inner aspiration and continuous ascetic search with no disturbances. And then her character that comes with beauty, with life, with this joyfulness, and with this continuous ecstasy, poetry. It's even in the text so much, the artistic decision of how the text is, the narration is done. It's bringing this invitation not only to my character, but also to her character. And this for me is one of the most interesting things, because it's revealing that Tantra has this strong prayer, has this strong devotion. It just kind of is more holistic, encompasses all of who we are as human beings to reach the same goal.
When I first heard about the topic and how, like in the process, how it was created, I liked it so much because of this point to religion, to Christianity. Because this is like, we live in Europe, and this is part of all our life. Even if you don't follow any kind of religion, somehow it's imprinted in our being, and it was very interesting how the Eastern ancient knowledge and Christianity can merge, and it's actually how it merges in us, like me as a tantric practitioner, but someone that is rooted in this culture finds this inside. And it helped also to clarify this somehow, and also to find the ways how they can actually help each other.
How can it help each other? What did you learn that actually help in your daily practice?
I went back a bit to like when you are a child and everything is so simple, and you have just this relationship with God, like with your mother or like with your father. And this process brought this back to me. And there was this silence in your character that my character actually needed, and it arrived to me as well somehow.
I think both of us needed it. And yes, because it has this the silence, but also the discipline, also the complete transfiguration of each act, the transfiguration of the tree, the transfiguration of the walking, the transfiguration of the incense, his cave, his home. Everything is so simple, but there's the fire, here's the tea, and everything has its own place, and is lived somehow, everything, all his life, as a prayer. And Tantra invites us to make prayer each action of our life. We don't have to exclude something if it's done with consciousness, with awareness and prayer, that actually she's showing him different dimensions of prayer.
And it's so interesting that seemingly they seem like opposites. in a way. The fullness of the experience and the simplicity. And in the end, they are actually just the same.
Because he has this connection with nature, with the tree. And then suddenly, through her insistence, he starts to see her as nature, as the feminine. And so it's very beautiful how actually even those paths who are more ascetic, they cannot be dry. Dryness is not a characteristic of a spiritual path. And he was not dry. You see with tears in his eyes as he prays to the tree. There's just some misconceptions about this relationship with God and nature. And then suddenly, with again her persistence and poetry and beauty and love, especially as it is a platonic love in the beginning, he gives in, and he, through love, understands that is the same prayer.
How can you, from what I see, how you can portray and you paint and you bring into the manifestation what you see, and you bring it in a very holy, sacred beauty. Because also beauty is also holy if we connect with the higher standards and higher perspective upon beauty. And from him, more with devotion, prayer, and to touch everything that he touches, he sees God in every part of the creation. Do you perceive it like that? Or how was your experience in this?
The character, she had the transfiguration, she had the experience of holiness, but something was missing. Because there is this moment, when something awakens in you, you start to search, you perceive that there is something more, you even have knowledge about it, because many of us, we are on a path seeking for God, but it's a path, so you are somewhere. And I felt with her that she was on a good track, but she needed exactly that experience that he could bring to her of that holiness, which somehow the space was created in her with the practices that she made, the art, which is a very important tool in her case of such. But to actually arrive there, she needed that other type of more rigorous, silent experience of holiness.
Also, the law of polarity is very much involved in this story. She has a certain awakening of her soul, and she's a woman. He has a certain awakening of the soul, and he's a man. And she's looking for that match in this period of her life. She had a very strong spiritual awakening, but she's not, let's say, finding a match. And then the synchronisms of the story make her find a match in an ascetic, which, of course,
is like challenges.
Yes. And then, of course, there's a certain aspect of contemplation, of transfiguration, and of perceiving this holiness in a man, and creates a polarity in her soul. And also him, he understands she's not just, like, how to say,
she's not just a woman.
Yes, she has a mysterious light and beauty and even a halo around her that provokes him. And he breaks his silence, and he breaks his recollection by the inspiration. It could be looked at as a temptation, but here clearly the story is showing that it's not a temptation, it's a godly opportunity. And so he also has this beautiful contemplation, transfiguration, and recognition of what is holy in a woman. And this solves something in his path. And there is something very beautiful in the first episode, which is this way how they start the relationship, which is through platonic love, which is, yes, with a kiss, with looking to each other, with small touches of the hand. She's giving him time to open up and to understand. So it's not dogmatic. No, things are like this. No, she's really feeling his soul and taking him on the journey. Like in a way, it also happened in real life.
Tell us more about that.
In a way, I feel that, of course, the story portrays it in an extreme way with the monk and the tantric practitioner. But this is what happens in every relationship. Like, you have something to learn, you have something to experience, and you are ready for that. And then, in the necessary moment, the right person will come who can teach you that. And it's just perfect how it's shown there, because this is what actually happens in real life with all of us, if we are aware of it. Like, if we are really able to look at relationships in a way that they are always there to teach us something very specific.
Yes, and actually in our relationship, which is some years now, it's we really took time to be together. I mean, we waited months until we kiss. We waited until we make love. And I was thinking the other day, you know what, that there's also this synchronism between our story and of these two characters, in the sense that it was shortly after COVID when we started our relationship, and I was practicing a lot because, you know, lockdowns and stuff. And so I had a very intense spiritual practice in this period, and I realized how this ecstasy of being in love was enhanced by the spiritual practice. And then it made me understand that in my character, he's just perfect to fall in love, because his heart is awakened. He has a beautiful relationship with nature. He has a beautiful relationship with God. And that's why the inner struggle in him is so strong, because he has already awakened heart to fall in love, but just some mental misconceptions that are stopping him. But I felt this as a reminder. Go back to, I mean, when we sometimes, you know, like our heart is a bit more closed, or we are not having this in love state, or this ecstasy, it reminds me that this prayer, this spiritual practice, this intensity of the path is actually what is opening ourselves to it, to such an extent, because they are not just a normal couple falling in love. I mean, it can, anybody can fall in love like that, but I feel, from my own experience and what I see in spiritual communities, that those who have a serious spiritual path and a serious spiritual practice, when they fall in love, it's with all their being, with all their soul, and with already some very correct direction of how to direct the relationship into really being for the truth and the beneficial transformation of both. And it takes me to this: when things go a little bit off, it's actually a lack of spiritual practice.